Hi, my name is Felicia Smit. I'm a South African artist. Today is the 25th of September 2025. Thank you for inviting me to share a little bit about my work, Stan. My background, I actually work full-time as a senior legal advisor, but art has always been my outlet and my passion. I grew up in South Africa surrounded by nature, and that definitely shows up in my work. Whether it's seascapes, botanicals, or even symbolic pieces like my Cuttings in Water series. My upbringing gave me an appreciation for resilience and for finding beauty in small, ordinary things. That sense of reflection and storytelling is always present in what I create. My biggest influences is nature. Nature is my greatest teacher. I draw inspiration from the South African coastline, from plants, and even from emotional journeys in my own life. Artistically, I admire both contemporary South African painters and international watercolorists who use color boldly. But honestly, my influences are a mix of landscapes I've walked, books I've read, and personal growth work I've done. And of course, meeting people. My focus right now I'm working on a seascape series of iconic South African coastlines, as well as a more symbolic collection called the Yoga Garden, where yoga poses transform into abstract wildflowers. My focus is really on building a body of work that feels personal but also speaks to others. My biggest challenges? The biggest challenge for me is balancing time between my legal career, my family and art, and also learning to quiet the inner critic. Like most artists, I sometimes battle with comparison, but I'm learning to trust my own path and the process. Balancing family, I have 2 children, I have 2 dogs, 2 cats, guinea pigs, a chicken, a husband, and a full-time career, so time is definitely my biggest challenge. What advice would I give to my younger self? Start sooner and share more boldly, and don't be afraid. Don't wait until you feel ready. There is no perfect moment. Perfect is definitely an illusion. Just create and trust the process, and trust that the right people will connect with your work. Have I tried any unconventional mediums or techniques? Not really. I've mostly been using watercolor, acrylic paint, the usual paper or canvas. I use watercolor a little bit more boldly than the traditional method of watercolor painting. So I did a series called Bright Facades, which is very bright buildings made from watercolor on paper. And it was actually the first painting that I ever sold, so I was very proud of that. But other than that, I don't use any unconventional mediums. I'd love to delve into mixed media at some point when I have more time on my hands. Do I listen to music or have any other type of background noise on, or do I prefer silence? So there's a balance there. I love music. I have music on all the time, in my car, in my room, in my house, in my office. I always have music on. Sometimes I listen intently, sometimes it's just background noise, but now and then I like to balance that out with some stillness and quiet. So while I'm painting, I either have some electronic music playing in the background or complete silence, and I just listen to the sounds of the house and the sounds of the studio, the sounds of the garden. So there's a balance there, but I appreciate both quiet and music. The best reaction anyone's ever had to one of my art pieces, at a market recently, someone was looking at a painting of Coffee Bay in the Eastern Cape in South Africa, and they said it transported them back to a holiday and they could smell the ocean. So that was very special to me. So what do I hope people take away from my art? I hope my work gives people a moment of calm, of reflection, or even nostalgia, but most of all, joy. I would love for someone to buy a painting from me and put it on their wall, and whenever they look at it, they feel joy. I think that's my ultimate goal, is to bring joy through my art. For me, painting is about honoring beauty and resilience, and I want others to feel that too. What have I got coming up and my socials? So I'm around Durban in South Africa. I'll be at some markets. We've got an exhibition coming up in October. And then on social media, you can find me on Instagram at Felicia Smit _ and my website is feliciasmit.com. Thank you so much, Stan. Thank you for letting me share my story.